This part of the project, what you have to do is you have to use monitoring the future data. And so the link for monitoring the future is in the assignment. And we're going to just keep on working with Mr. Pilisher's example, which again, you guys cannot do vaping as your study point. Vaping is an example I'm using, so I don't want anybody using vaping for their paper or their project. So when you get here to see the data, you go to trends, prevalence of various drugs. And that brings you to 2019. Now, I work with 12th graders, right? So I'm going to use the 12th graders. You can choose 8th grade, 10th grade, anyone you want. And also how this is broken down, like let's look at alcohol. It says lifetime, past year, past month, daily. If I were you, I would just pick one. So lifetime, and this is basically a student that said, yes, I've drank in my lifetime. Yes, a 12th grade student. Yes, I drank in this year. Yes, I drank this month. And yes, I drank today, right? Um, So I'm going to go to cigarettes. I'm going to go to 12th grade and I'm going to go to this year. And for cigarette use, it was 22.3. So I go over here to smoking. I go to 2019 and I put 22.30. Okay. Now I go back to my back to the table and I go to vaping. And I go to again lifetime for 12th grade, and it was 45.60, right? So uh, what that and I take that and I put that into 2019. All right. Then what I do is I go to 2000. All right. In order to do that, I click on my I hit back. Oh, click forward. All right. You go down, and you see it has. So it has some of these things. So it has some of the like 2017, 2016, 2015. I'm going to go back even further. So I'm going to hit archive, sorry. So here's after 2015. I'm going to go all the way down to 2000 and I'm going to click on 2000. So I've read this thing through. It hasn't said how many people they surveyed, so I'm going to assume it's the same amount of people they did in 2019. Um, so anyways, I go through each, illicit drugs. Here they have marijuana, they have methamphetamine, crystal meth. They have other types of drugs, right? So this is where they're, if you're doing anything with other types of drugs, they have cocaine, they have heroin, inhalants, LSD, cigarettes, use of cigarettes and smokeless tobacco, right? So what you do is you go to lifetime. So use of cigarettes at least once in the student's lifetime, right? Because that's what we're doing. And you go to 12th graders from 41 and 99 to 4. Okay, here it is. So uh, where are the 12th graders? Let me see. Aha, here it is. Past month use of cigarettes decreased at least once in student's lifetime, decreased from 41 to in 1999 to 40.5 in 2001. Eighth graders. Okay, why don't they have the 12th graders? Uh, See, it's nicer when they have a table, right? Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull The use of cigarettes at least once in the student's lifetime decreased from 41% to among 8th graders and from 57.6 to 51 among 10th graders. We're going to just pull this 55.1% because that's the data that we have available. And Mr. Pilisher, when he was prepping for this video, made a mistake, so I'm going to just change it, which I think will be good because then you guys could see where these numbers, go. So let's steal the format. Okay. So 55.1% are smoking. Interesting. Kids today might not be so different than kids from when I was growing up. But again, we got to do the math to see if it's true. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this through, right? And we're going to see that we're going to use now these formulas we got from the last unit. So if you have to go into your notes from last unit, but I have them here for you, so I don't want you to go nuts. So again, this is how to find the z-score. But before you find the z-score, which you're going to put into your calculator to find the p-value, which will tell you if you can throw it out or not, you're going to look at the, and I guess before all of that, you should say that your significance level is 5%, right? Significance level equals 0.05, meaning that if your p-value is less than 5%, then the null hypothesis can be, the data suggests that we can reject it. If it's not, then we won't reject it. All right, so now look at what we have. Before we calculate the z-score, you have to find the standard error. And before you find the standard error, you have to calculate this, this p-value right here, which is like the average. So 0.456 I got from here. This is the vaping. Our total number of participants are right here, so I have to multiply that here. And then I just have to change this to 0.551. That's the number of people who said they smoked in their lifetime in 2000. And I have to multiply it. And what I'm doing is I'm finding the number, right? So I'm going to plug this into my calculator. And whatever I get here, I'm going to plug it up here. And in N1, N1 and N2 are the same. It's they're both 42,531. Now, the reason why I'm not going to do the math for you is I want to see you doing the math. So when you hand in your part, I want to see the other part of this finished, where you give me the z value and you put that z statistic into a p-value calculator, and then we can do the the conclusion or not to see if we can reject the null hypothesis or not. Okay. Okay. If you have any questions, set up office hours. We are working on this. It's due June 5th, this Friday. But the truth is, like, if you get it into me by June 12th, there is no penalty. So we are working on this, revising it, revising other things too. But this is how we're ending the year. Okay.